Have you ever wondered what the shoreline is doing when it looks like nothing is happening? In a warm coastal place where the land and sea tangle their fingers together, mangrove trees stood quietly in shallow water. Their roots twisted and curved like thoughtful questions, rising above the surface before disappearing again below. The air was thick with warmth and gentle humidity, and everything smelled of salt, wet earth, and green life growing slowly. When the tide slipped away, the mangrove forest did not fall silent. It became something else entirely. Between the exposed roots, on dark, glistening mud that reflected the sky in soft patches, a small mudskipper rested. Its body was smooth and mottled, coloured like the place it belonged to, browns, greys, and hints of green that blended perfectly with shadow and soil. Large eyes sat high on its head, moving independently, watching everything and nothing all at once. The mudskipper did not swim like most fish. It did not hurry back to the water when the tide pulled away. Instead, it stayed where the land and sea met halfway, balanced between two worlds that rarely agreed with each other. Morning light filtered through mangrove leaves, dappling the mud in shifting patterns. Insects buzzed softly. Crabs scuttled sideways between roots, leaving tiny trails that disappeared almost as soon as they formed. The mudskipper lifted itself slightly on its fins, testing the air, tasting the moment. This was home. Every day in the mangrove forest followed a rhythm that felt slow but never stopped. Water came and went. Shadows moved. Sounds layered gently, distant waves, rustling leaves, the quiet pop of mud releasing air. The mudskipper knew these patterns well. It listened to them with its whole body. Today, the tide had gone farther out than usual. The mud felt firmer beneath the mudskipper's fins, cracked slightly in places where the sun had reached it longer. Small puddles clung to the lowest roots, holding onto the sea just a little while longer. The mudskipper blinked slowly, noticing the difference without concern. A fiddler crab waved one bright claw nearby, then disappeared into a burrow as if remembering something important. A dragonfly hovered briefly above the roots, its wings catching the light before it darted away. Life continued in quiet motion. The mudskipper hopped once, then again, moving from one shaded patch to another. Each movement was careful, practiced, and calm. It paused often, not because it was tired, but because pausing revealed things that rushing never did. From its low place near the ground, the mangrove forest felt enormous. Roots towered like pillars. Reflections rippled faintly in leftover pools. The air carried messages from both land and sea, blending them into something entirely unique. The mudskipper noticed a narrow channel between two roots where water still flowed faintly, connecting a shrinking pool to the open mangrove lagoon beyond. Tiny creatures moved within it, adjusting to the changing tide, following instincts shaped by countless quiet days. The channel was thinning. The mudskipper watched as the water slowed, then slowed again. A small snail clung to one root, lifting its body slightly as if deciding whether to continue or wait. The mudskipper felt no urgency, only awareness. long ago passed through the water and air from places far beyond the mangroves, the Mudskipper had heard a sound, felt meaningful. Pelan, it was called. It meant slow, not delayed, not stuck, just unhurried. The mangrove forest lived by that idea, and so did the Mudskipper. It hopped closer to the channel, resting at its edge. The Mudskipper lowered its body, feeling the subtle pull of the remaining water. With a gentle push of one fin, it shifted a thin layer of mud, not blocking, not forcing, only smoothing the path where water still wished to move. The channel responded quietly. Water lingered longer, flowing just enough to stay connected. The pool breathed again, its surface settling into calm reflections of leaves and sky. The tiny movements within it slowed, becoming steady once more. The Mudskipper did not stay to watch. Instead, it hopped back toward a familiar route, climbing slightly before resting in its shade. From there, it could see the mangrove forest stretch outward, layered with roots, pools, mud, and light. Everything felt balanced again, not because something had been fixed, but because it had been noticed. As the sun climbed higher, warmth deepened. The Mudskipper adjusted its position, turning slightly to keep its skin comfortable. Nearby, a heron stepped carefully between roots, patient and quiet, then moved on without disturbance. The Mudskipper observed without alarm. This was how the forest worked: shared space, gentle awareness. Time passed in soft pieces. When the tide began to return, it did not announce itself loudly. Water crept back between roots, slipping into channels, filling low places first. The Mudskipper felt the change through vibration and scent before it saw it. Water reached the channel again, strengthening its flow. The pool reconnected fully, becoming part of the larger mangrove lagoon once more. Reflections deepened, sounds softened. The Mudskipper slid easily into the shallow water, swimming briefly before resting again on a root just above the surface. It was not choosing land or sea. It was choosing both. As afternoon light mellowed into gold, the mangrove forest glowed with quiet life. Leaves whispered. Roots stood steady. Water moved gently around everything, accepting each shape it encountered. The Mudskipper remained still, eyes watching, body relaxed, perfectly placed between worlds that trusted it to listen. Nothing needed attention now. Nothing needed changing. The mangrove forest was whole mud, water, roots, and all in the space where land and sea met. A small Mudskipper waited calmly, ready to notice whatever came next.